Have you ever been in a relationship that felt like a roller coaster ride you never signed up for? A journey filled with love, betrayal, and unexpected twists that left you questioning everything? Today, I'm sharing a deeply personal story that will grip your heart from the very beginning. It's a tale of trust shattered, promises broken, and a choice that changed my life forever. So, grab a seat and prepare to dive into a story of love, betrayal, and the ultimate quest for self-respect. Welcome to my journey. I stood in the kitchen, staring out the window at Jake as he played catch with our 3 kids in the backyard. 8 long years we had been together, and it felt like a roller coaster ride, one that I never asked to be on. He was their superhero. They adored him more than anything and hung on to his every word. "Mommy, watch this," my youngest shouted, waving her arms excitedly as she prepared to throw the ball back to Jake. "Great job, sweetie," I called out, forcing a smile despite the heaviness in my chest. Jake hadn't always been faithful to me, and while he thought I wasn't aware, I had my suspicions. But he had also been the one taking care of me and the kids. He made sure we had everything we needed, even though his infidelity broke my heart each time. The last time he cheated, I couldn't hold back any longer and confronted him. "Sarah, I'm sorry," he had said, his eyes filled with genuine remorse. "I don't know what's wrong with me. I promise I'll do better." "Better isn't good enough, Jake," I had replied, my voice breaking. "We deserve more than that, please, Sarah," he begged, tears streaming down his face. "I'll make it up to you, I swear," and just when I thought I had seen it all, Jake came home the next day with a bouquet of roses and a small velvet box hidden behind his back. He looked into my eyes, his own filled with hope and fear, and dropped to one knee. "Sarah, will you marry me?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly as he opened the box to reveal a beautiful engagement ring. After 8 tumultuous years, this fool finally popped the question. My heartstrings couldn't resist, even though a part of me screamed to run away. But I loved him, and I wanted to believe that things could be different. "Of course, I will," I said softly, tears filling my eyes as he slid the ring onto my finger. "Sarah, I promise you, I'm going to change," he whispered, his arms wrapping around me tightly. "I won't let you down again." I wanted so badly to believe him. But deep inside, I knew it was only a matter of time before history repeated itself. Our wedding day came and went like a whirlwind, the vows and celebrations now a hazy memory. The sun was setting as we boarded the plane to Jamaica, hand in hand, hoping for a fresh start. As we landed, the warm tropical breeze caressed my face, the scent of exotic flowers filling my senses. "Welcome to paradise," Jake whispered in my ear, his breath hot against my neck. I felt a shiver run down my spine despite the heat. Maybe this could be our new beginning, I thought, a chance for us to forget the past and focus on each other. Our hotel room was breathtaking, an ocean view with a private balcony, white linen curtains flowing gently in the breeze. I stepped out onto the balcony, the sound of waves crashing in the distance soothing my troubled mind. "Sarah," Jake called from inside the room, his voice tinged with desire. "Come here." As I turned to face him, I couldn't help but feel a mix of love and anger. This man, who had hurt me so profoundly, still held my heart captive. I took a deep breath, the salty air filling my lungs, and walked back into the room. "Jake," I said, staring straight into his eyes, "you better never cheat on me again." He chuckled softly, taking my hands in his. "You never have to worry about that anymore, Sarah. I promise." Desire coursed through me at his touch, fueled by the intensity of his gaze. We kissed passionately, all the years of pain and frustration melting away as our bodies melded together. It was as if our souls were reconnecting, finding solace in each other after so much turmoil. The sex was electric, better than it had been in years, leaving us both breathless and spent. As I lay in his arms afterward, my body aching but satisfied, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. Maybe he meant it this time, I thought, allowing myself to drift into a deep, coma-like sleep. "Sweet dreams, my love," Jake murmured, his lips brushing against my forehead as I drifted away. For the first time in years, I allowed myself to believe that we could be happy again. The next morning, the sun peeked through the curtains, bathing the room in a warm, golden light. My eyes fluttered open, still heavy from sleep, as I turned to find Jake's side of the bed empty. A faint knocking at the door roused me further, and I pulled on Jake's discarded shirt before padding over to answer it. "Room service," a lilting voice sang out on the other side. I opened the door to reveal a tall, beautiful island woman with caramel-colored skin, her dark hair cascading down her back in waves. She introduced herself as Consuela, and I couldn't help but notice the way her eyes seemed to linger on the empty spot beside me. As she stepped into the room with her cleaning supplies, her gaze met Jake's as he emerged from the bathroom, and I felt a sudden chill shoot down my spine. "Hello, can I help you?" I asked, trying to hide the unease in my voice. Consuela tore her gaze away from Jake and looked at me, offering a sultry smile. "Yes. Would you like it if I cleaned your room or bathroom first?" The room would be great," I replied, feeling an inexplicable need to assert my presence. Consuela's eyes roved over the rumpled sheets on the bed before flicking back to Jake, who stood frozen under her gaze. "Jake, let's go grab some breakfast while Consuela takes care of the room," I suggested, trying to keep my voice light and casual. He nodded, though his eyes never left hers. As we left the room, I could feel the weight of her gaze boring into my back. I tried to push the uneasy feeling away, telling myself it was just my imagination, that Jake had promised me he'd never cheat again. Over the next few days, however, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was going on between Jake and Consuela. They'd exchanged stolen glances when they thought I wasn't looking, and I noticed how he seemed to be constantly distracted, his mind elsewhere. "Is everything okay, Jake?" I asked one night, my heart pounding in my chest. "Of course, Sarah," he replied, offering me a reassuring smile, but it never quite reached his eyes. "Why do you ask?" "Nothing, I hesitated, unable to voice my suspicions. As much as I wanted to believe him, I couldn't silence the nagging voice in my head that whispered of betrayal. As time went on, their secret love affair unfolded behind my back, hidden in hushed whispers and clandestine meetings along the beach. The truth crashed into me like a tidal wave when I stumbled upon them one evening, their laughter mingling with the sound of crashing waves as they pressed against each other under the moonlight. My heart shattered, as the man who had vowed to never hurt me again betrayed me once more, leaving me broken and gasping for air. The moment our plane touched down on home soil, I felt a newfound determination settle within me. This was my chance to take control of my life, to finally confront the deceit that had plagued our relationship for far too long. "Jake," I whispered as we walked through the airport, "I have some errands to run when we get back. You should head straight to work." "Okay," he agreed, oblivious to my intentions. "I'll see you later, babe." He leaned in and pressed a kiss to my cheek, leaving a lingering trail of regret in its wake. As soon as Jake left for work, I sprang into action. My fingers trembled as I logged into our joint bank account, transferring every last cent into my personal account. It was a gut-wrenching decision, but it had to be done. I couldn't let Jake's betrayal go unaddressed any longer. Next, I called our real estate agent and arranged for the sale of the house. It felt strange, handing over the keys to a place that had once been filled with love, laughter, and dreams of a brighter future together. But those memories were tainted now, poisoned by the knowledge of Jake's infidelity. With the money secure and the house sold, I turned my attention to the final piece of my plan, sabotaging Jake's presentation. Through mutual friends, I managed to obtain a copy of his PowerPoint slides and swiftly replaced one of them with the incriminating sex tape of him and Consuela. "Please let this be enough," I whispered to myself, praying for the strength to see my plan through to the end. The following day, I waited with bated breath for news of Jake's downfall. And sure enough, late in the afternoon, my phone buzzed with a text message from a friend who worked at his company. "OMG. You won't believe what happened at Jake's presentation today." I felt a sick sense of satisfaction as I read her message, detailing the shock that rippled through the room when Jake's sex tape began playing on the screen. It wasn't long before he was fired, his professional reputation left in tatters. "Sarah, please," Jake begged later that night, standing barefoot on the driveway of our now-sold home. "I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. Can we work this out, work it out?" I scoffed, my anger finally boiling over. "You had your chance, Jake. You threw away everything we had for a fling with Consuela. Now you're homeless and penniless, and you have no one to blame but yourself. As I walked away from him, my heart heavy with sorrow, I knew that I had done what needed to be done. The future was uncertain, but at least it was mine to shape, free from lies, deceit, and the man who had broken my heart one too many times. Now, here are 5 takeaways and valuable lessons you should learn from my experience. 1. Trust your instincts and confront suspicions as they arise, just as I did when I had suspicions of Jake's infidelity and addressed them rather than ignore them, which ultimately led to a confrontation. 2. Establish clear boundaries and don't settle for less than you deserve, as highlighted by my refusal to accept Jake's apologies and empty promises, asserting my worth, and holding him accountable for his actions. 3. Actions, not words, are what truly matter, as emphasized by Jake's repeated promises of change, but his actions consistently contradicted those promises, demonstrating the importance of looking for consistent effort in a partner. 4. Forgiveness is important, but not at the expense of your happiness and mental health, as proven by how I took control of my life by making the tough decision to protect myself, even though it meant ending the relationship. Finally, fear and guilt should not hold you back from securing your future happiness, just like I took action to protect myself and my well-being. In the end, my journey with Jake was a tumultuous one, marked by betrayal, heartache, and ultimately, a painful separation. Yet I had to choose my own path, and I hope that by sharing my story, it serves as a reminder that self-respect and self-care should always be our top priorities.